I've just had a WhatsApp from the wife. Obviously I'm not reading it because I'm driving. She sent me 2 photos, so I'm hoping they're not photos of my transition bag and wheels. So I thought I'd plot up on my Sunday morning ride to do my race report. What a cracking morning this morning. I would have done this on the bike, but I'm just finding that the wind noise is a bit of an issue, so I'm trying to figure that one out. So anywho, yes, the Hanningfield Sprint Tri. It's an event organised by Wild Deer Events. Their website is in the link below. There's no sponsorship or anything like that involved with this. This is just my honest review. So as you know, this was my comeback race. I'm just going to nip across to me in the car en route to the race, sharing my thoughts. Hello again, YouTube. Well, race morning, and God, I'm looking forward to this. And you forget what race morning's like. I'm in the car. I've got like a I've got like a triathlon checklist I made myself years ago to check off that you've got everything as you put it in the car. And still I'm sitting here thinking, did I bring my running shoes, and did I bring the wetsuit and stuff like that? And I know it's all in the boot, but welcome to triathlon. So yes, it is coincidentally 10 years to the day since I raced my first triathlon. And here I am, 10 years to the day, racing my comeback race. How's that? That first triathlon was the Big East Triathlon, and the weather was mad. The registration tent blew down. It's not like that today. It's a bit foggy at the moment. It's very still. We like that. That bodes for a good bike. And I understand it's going to get up to about 18 degrees, which should be nice for the run. And I understand that the water in the reservoir we're swimming in was 17 degrees yesterday. Notwithstanding that, I've bought my neoprene gloves because I do suffer with sort of my hands when they get in cold water. They become practically unusable. And so I checked with the organisers and they said, yeah, you're alright to wear your neoprene gloves. They've also said that I could wear my neoprene boots if I want to, and the jury's out on that one, because they do slow you down a bit because they fill up with water, but then you get sort of like a trade-off in that they give you a little bit more buoyancy at your feet. So jury's out on that one. And I mean, I'm going to look fucking stupid in transition at a sprint triathlon taking off neoprene gloves and boots, but what the fuck, I'm here to have fun this morning. And if I, like I've said before, like I said in the video yesterday, if I get the finish and enjoy myself, that's job done. But it's just really good to be experiencing race morning again. I'd forgotten how much I love this. So I'm going to get myself up to the venue, and we are probably about 10 minutes away from the venue at the moment, and registration is just opening. And yeah, get myself up to the venue, get registered, and I think I've left myself a bit of time to have a walk around and do some footage whilst I'm there. So here we go, racing again. So yeah, it was honestly fantastic to be racing again yesterday morning. That race day feeling was nothing like it, and I'd forgotten how much I enjoyed it. It's a complete part of the race for me, you know, that sort of like getting your bike set up, you know, getting freaked out about the swim before you get in and stuff like that. So anyway, on to the race. Now, I wasn't able to capture a lot of video, so there's just selected bits here, basically. I got up to the venue, got myself registered. You get your swim hat with your number on, you get a number for your body, and you get a number for your bike, and of course your timing chip. Now I would say that this is a fantastic try anyone's first triathlon, because even though it's a timed event, I don't think there are any sort of hard cut-offs or stupidly hard cut-offs like you'd get with some events run under British Triathlon rules or anything like that. So yeah, I got the bike built up. I tried to look as professional as possible. I took my park tools stand with me and built the bike up properly, and got all the wheels onto it. And a nice chat with a couple of guys either side of me. One of those guys is training for Ironman Copenhagen. Didn't catch your name, but if you watch this, good luck, mate. And the other guy was a fucking legend. He was a Norseman. Oh, mate, you name it, he'd done it. He'd really got the Ironman chops. So yeah, kudos to him. So anyway, that was really nice. And this is what I say, this is all part of race day morning. So I got my bike built. Now I thought I'd left myself plenty of time to get set up in transition and even wander around with the camera, but I hadn't. There was the usual faffing on my part, and before I knew it, I was watching people in swim hats go down to the briefing, and I'm still effing around in the car. So got myself down to the briefing. Now the swim was the bit that concerned me the most. One, because I thought it was going to be very cold and my hands aren't good in cold water, and two, because it was the first competitive open water swim I'd done since I did my last triathlon, to be honest with you. So it was kind of freaky, and for me it was almost worst case scenario, because I like one of those swim starts where you get to walk down a boat ramp into the swim and get acclimatized, but this was jump off the end of a pontoon job. So launched myself into the water, and yeah, it was cold, but I did the old get the face in the water, practice the bilateral breathing, and that really helped. There was a lady next to me who was, she said it was her first try, and I think she was suffering from the cold, and I don't think she appreciated my advice for peeing in your wetsuit, but anyway, that's what I was doing. So, but swim got going. It was one of the best swims I've ever had. Now, not one of the fastest swims I've ever had, but just the quality of the water was wonderful. I mean, it would be, it's a reservoir. The organisation of the event was great. The boys were easy to spot. There was a little bit of chop on the water. I managed to stay in the pack and had the usual sort of fisticuffs, which I've kind of missed. And I was out of the water in fairly good time. In fact, right when I got back to transition, I encountered an unusual situation for me of bikes still on racks, and like I'm like there's one or two bikes in transition when I get out of the swim, so that was encouraging. T1 was an absolute farce. I'm going to play the entire video here of T1 just so you can see. I kind of struggled getting out of my wetsuit. I hadn't done let the little bit of water in before you get out of the water. So I faffed around getting that off a little bit. Of course there were gloves and boots to take off, and also, I mean, God only knows what I was thinking. I'd opted to take a pair of bike gloves with me. Where are they? They're here somewhere. I'd opted to take a pair of bike gloves with me to wear on the bike in case my hands were cold and I couldn't feel the controls. So there was the absolute farce of me, getting my socks on, getting my shoes on, which aren't my tri shoes, because my tri shoes aren't comfortable anymore. I've got to get a new pair. So I went with the S-Works road shoes that I've got. They don't take that much longer to put on, but they do take longer to put on. So I faffed around with those, and then honestly, if you'd have been watching this, it was like an example in how not to do T1, as I was standing there struggling to get a pair of bloody cycling gloves on. But anyway, got out onto the bike, and that's where it started coming good. The bike course was really nice, but this being Essex in the UK, the roads are awful. There are potholes everywhere. Sorry, I'm just going to make sure my Garmin doesn't shut itself off. Potholes everywhere. I mean, the organisers had done their best to mark them. Now, what I would say about the bike route is that it was excellently marshalled. There were marshals in just the right places, and marshals that communicated with you like marshals should. So they put them kind of at dangerous junctions. And the last event I did, the last half iron I did, it was almost, God only knows where they got the marshals from. But yesterday's wild deer events, hats off to you guys. These guys were watching you coming up to the junction, they were watching the traffic, they were actually managing the situation. And as you came up to the junction, if one of these guys said you're good to go, you were good to go, and you felt confident in what they were telling you. So hats off to you guys, that was a top job on the marshalling there. Bike course was, for the sprint, 2 laps effectively around the roads around the perimeter of the reservoir. And there were a couple of little punchy little climbs in there. Now, what I found was that honestly, the greyhound absolutely howled around this course. For everyone that had gone past me in the swim, I went past a good number of them on the bike. And I mean, you know, you're looking at the footage here to prove it, and I'm not doing this just to be big-headed, I'm just to say, you know, like, this bike was going so well. What I did find was that the Super Team wheels, which I thought weren't prone to side winds, they are. There's this little stretch of road here as you come across the end of the reservoir. It's completely open and the wind has been howling across the reservoir. It's picked up a bit of speed by that point, and as you come out from the cover of these bushes on the left hand side here, man, it took that front wheel, and if you were down on the bars, it certainly felt like it could have taken the front wheel from under you. So that was kind of freaky. And I must admit, there were a couple of places like that where I was on the base bar rather than the aero bars, where I felt, this is really an aero bar section, but that crosswind was taking them. So I don't know what I'm going to do there. I might actually see if I can get like a 60 front to put on, because I'm sure that that would give me the best of both worlds. But having said that, I mean, that's one small annoyance. They absolutely flew. The bike absolutely flew. All of my kit choices seemed justified, even on the punchy little climbs that I had thought to myself, I wonder if, you know, the gearing's going to be right, stuff like that. I was never at the big ring, and it was a joy to ride. Anyway, back into transition. Again, nicely marshalled there at the transition. T2 was a lot better, usually is. Just took my kit off. Obviously it would have been quicker if I hadn't been taking off cycling gloves, but you live you learn. So T2 was a lot better, got my trainers on. Now the run, I didn't get any video of the run, I'm really sorry about that. I'll see if I can find some stock footage. But the run was basically forest trails, and it was beautiful. It was an absolutely beautiful run. The weather was pretty much like today actually. About 18 degrees. There was a little bit of a breeze coming in, but cover of the trees honestly, it was beautiful, and again, well marshalled. I did on the run, at times I was looking down at my watch and I was running sort of 5:30 per kilometre in places, which is good for me. And the run total, I think I came in at an average of 6:06 per kilometre for the run. Now, considering that this was my first try, you know, and I'd done the swim and the bike beforehand, I'll take that every day of the week. Finish was a little bit of an uphill and under the arch, and I emptied the tank up to the finish like you should, and man, honestly, I can't tell you, it was just such a good feeling to be back racing again. After the finish you get a nice medal actually. These medals, I thought these were a lovely lump of tin, but they're wood, and actually I really like the idea of that, the sustainability thing. So yeah, you get a nice medal, and you get a snack and a drink, and you got to choose a gift. I took this woolly hat because there was a pair of socks, and I'm funny with socks, and there was you could have had a coffee cup, but I've got a coffee cup. So woolly hats, I do wear woolly hats in the winter, so I thought this would be nice, and a nice little memento of the occasion. What I would say, going back to the run, the Brooks Caldera 7s, the best trainers I've ever run in, road or trail, full stop, end of. They are brilliant. Just they glided around this course, and I think, you know, a lot of that was what helped me keep my pace up in places. So there you go, the Hanningfield Sprint Tri is back. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved this event. Thank you, Wild Deer, for a really well organised, really nice marshalled event that was my perfect comeback to triathlon. And like I said in the intro, bizarrely 10 years to the day since the day I did my first triathlon. Anyway, hope this has been interesting, this little journey, this 3-day taper, ending up in actually doing a triathlon for once. I can say I'm back now, and yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you've found this useful in some way. If you've made it this far, as always, you have my greatest respect and admiration. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you in the next one, YouTube.